What is going on, everybody? It is the Brother Beans podcast coming at you. It's our first episode, so cut us some slack if we make a little mistakes here and there, but we would like to start off by introducing ourselves. I'm Colin, one of the co-hosts. I got everyone else here. Why don't you guys start introducing?
I'll start, I guess. My name's Alex.
My name's Chris.
My name is Demo.
All right, so that's the whole group that we're going to have for the main podcast now. The Brother Beans is not just us four. It's a friend group of... Like, if I had to describe it, it's a group of dumbass people that have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's our friend group, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But the Brother Beans podcast was just kind of our concept of an idea. We wanted to do something more, and, you know, we're all friends already, and we already have the Brother Beans friend group. It's just what we call the group, I guess. I don't know. So we figured, like, why not make a podcast and start having some conversations on camera and having a little more fun with things. So that's pretty much where we are right now. We just wanted to start introducing ourselves a little bit, getting our name out, and, so we're a little more familiar with who we are. And yeah, as far as that goes, I think we're going to have a fun time doing all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go.
I'm going to enjoy this.
All right. So, for today's episode, I did bring out a couple things. I'm going to have the list on me, honestly, just so I know that we're on track. But first and foremost, guys, what are your thoughts on AI? Do you think they're harmful or safe for the future? And do you think it's going to be something that benefits or deficits humans in a whole?
I feel like it's a little both.
A little bit of both?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Like, it could be safe for us in the future. Like, it'll help us with, with work-wise. But also, we don't know if it might be too much and it'll take over.
Fair enough. You don't know where that line is. Like, the line of, like, when is it too far and when are they too involved and when could it be?
Yeah.
So, like, would your idea be, like, regulation? Or, like, what would your approach be to maintaining an issue like that? Like, knowing that it's kind of a gray area, how would you personally want to come about, like, or what would your ideas be in terms of maintaining that system and, just trying to make sure that it stays safe? How would you go about that?
I'm not too much familiar with AI, but I've seen a lot online.
Okay.
Like, the platform TikTok.
Absolutely.
Instagram.
It's everywhere.
It's
hard.
everywhere.
You can't miss it.
It's literally everywhere.
Yeah, you can't miss AI. We've all heard of ChatGPT. Like, we're all familiar, So, yeah.
Have you guys used ChatGPT?
Yeah.
I seen an episode on South Park about it. It was pretty fun.
I heard about that. But...
Yeah, I've actually implemented it in my life for business use. I've been using it to create. I literally wrote out our podcast branding scheme. Using AI.
Yeah, I saw that. You sent that.
Our general branding scheme was through the help and assistance of ChatGPT. I've used it to help Alex set up his when you were working on your
an invoice system.
He was working on an invoice system, trying to set up something in Excel, and ChatGPT was the only thing that was able to get us the proper answers in directory to figure that out and get it set up.
Step by step.
Perfectly. It defined exactly how to do it step by step, and he got it done. Like, he was able to converse everything.
I think I saw that downstairs when I was with him and Oscar.
Okay.
Maybe. I think you saw the old one, not the new one.
Oh.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just remember Alex was asking me if I knew anything about Excel, and I was like, no, but ChatGPT does.
Yeah.
And I threw it in, and sure enough, it took care of it.
No, just remember now, it's based. It knows it.
It knows that it's based. I taught it that it's based.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know if it's like. I know it's good for school wise, but you guys remember when we used what was that thing? That app or
Photomath?
Photomath?
Yeah. Photomath like crazy.
Photomath.
That was helpful.
I think that's kind of like an AI thing.
Yeah,
it could.
I've
Yeah,
seen.
It could.
I recently saw a picture posting. ChatGPT can now read a scanned print of a test, and then you can tell it to answer direct questions, like answer 11A.1 out of all those subcategory answers.
No shit.
And it'll go and read it, and then scan it, answer it, and give you the exact formula of how it came up with it.
Okay.
Like, it's insane. ChatGPT 4 is even crazier than 3, and I don't know.
Yeah, there's some updates on there, right?
Yep.
I didn't read the whole thing, but I saw it was definitely more advanced.
Yeah, it's more advanced, and it's crazy because it was already so good.
We're fucking doomed, dude.
That's how you feel?
That's how I feel.
It's okay.
I mean,
have you not seen a movie like the last 20 years? Like, you've seen what happens with technology. Like,
I do.
I Robot, right, with Will Smith.
You guys
Kinda
are,
like-
yeah,
kinda like
I
that.
robot. Yeah, exactly like I robot.
I don't know.
I get where you're
have-
coming from.
Mhm.
but they're also like, they are like machine. Like they don't have this internal thought process with emotion-based feelings. Like I hate humans because I'm better. They're inferior to me. It's just a matter of like,
How can you prove?
I exist and how can I continue to do this?
Because
How
like
can you prove that it's just?
you
Because
can.
it's been coded. It was
Okay.
coded by a human being. It's only as powerful as the human who let it be. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah,
it only has as much power as you grant it.
I see that, but
Because like when you think about it, like, does your computer really do anything without you telling it to do something? Like even
Maybe
then,
updates, but even then,
Updates,
it's
yeah.
because you have it set on automatic.
Right,
If
yeah.
you turn that on manual, guess what? Your computer doesn't do a thing
it's just
until
a brick.
you tell it to.
Yeah.
It's not just going to go and run games and install updates and run its thing unless you've allowed it to. And even then, that was because you said it could, not because it chose to.
I mean, also it feels like we talked about this earlier. Jobs in a way, because like
Yeah,
AI can start making art
Oh, yeah.
on its own,
absolutely.
and can just take over people's jobs. And like, what's the need for people when we could just have AI entertain us?
Yeah,
the
I
rest
get
of
what
our
you
lives?
mean, but I think there's going to become a time period where art may be separated. So, for instance, there's going to be AI-based art and then human art. I think there's going to be two reigns of territory because art isn't one general thing where it's like, well, this is art and this isn't. Like, there's so many categories of what's considered art. I think it would become its own category. AI art versus human art
You
versus
would
hand and
consider
paper.
it art, AI.
In a way, but not like...
So we're gonna like
It's
separate.
art in the way that it is original, in that it was created as a picture, as a purpose to serve, just as a photo, as an
Well-
image, as something to appreciate.
Okay.
And I feel like that's what art is at the end of the day, but it's a different type of art. It's not human art. It may be influenced by humans because it was our doing to give it the programming to be able to do it, but it's still its own processes and it's pulling its own images and its own ideas into it.
Well, you don't know if AI will have a malfunction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere, it'll take over our jobs, but it could harm us because you don't know if there's a malfunction in the system, and that could hurt you.
A lot of important
And
things run on
yeah,
technology too,
yeah.
so it can be like
Yeah, I get what you
And-
mean.
malfunction.
Yeah, and plus, people are doing like that voice thing. Is that with the chat?
Deepfakes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Deepfakes,
yeah, like promoting from like an actor that
Yeah.
they like the actor does not know about it or anything. Like I saw one thing about Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
Like,
I've seen that.
about his like because you send me videos of the AI stuff and
Yeah.
all that.
We send them in the group chat.
Yeah, and basically what happened was this company used that what was it called? Deep Voice, right?
Deepfakes.
Deepfake.
That's what it's called.
Yeah,
It's like-
they were using that, and they used Joe Rogan's voice,
Mm.
and it was like produced like he was saying like, oh, you should buy this because this like a sponsor, but
Mm.
it's not true.
Yeah, and it's like the AI has like Joe Rogan's like thoughts like in like
Yeah,
and
but
pe-
basically
people
sounding like him.
people might believe it too.
I get
It
where you guys
sounds
are coming
real.
from,
people
but
think
there's
the most
one
stupid
thing:
shit.
is that's human. That was a human that decided to use AI for a negative purpose. That wasn't AI deciding to be negative. Does that make sense? Like it had no directive other than what a human told it to do. So I would say the real fear should be in the wrong humans using AI for the wrong things versus just basing AI and thinking like that's going to be the thing that cracks and somehow separate. Like I think it would be something that a human does with it, trying to accomplish something that fucks things up if it's going to happen. I don't think it would just happen on its own. I think it'd be a human error.
Okay.
Like someone
So-
puts the wrong code in, someone tries
okay.
to teach it like I want you to do this
That
and you
scenario-
it's risky,
so what if-
but I'm going to let you.
So what if that happens? That's dangerous to have
But that's
technology
human.
like
I
that.
wouldn't blame the technology to begin with. I blame the human that decided to make it that
But
way.
the technology's there, and if someone's like has bad intentions with it, they can really cause harm. You know.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know if like we were talking about iRobot, it'll have a mind of its own. You don't know like
Like
I don't know
someone
where-
can just program that to happen
Yeah.
and just.
or like
Chaos
you don't know
everywhere.
if AI gets really smart and just takes over it and then it has its own mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a virus or something.
well, I mean,
something
there's
like
always
that.
fail safes and everything that people build in.
True.
And then, like, I mean, there's always things that can be done if you really just want to limit it to see
Right.
it. And I'm pretty sure we don't even have the final product. I mean, think about it. The military had the internet for years before it came out to the
Before
general
it
public.
came-
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they have, or somebody out
They've
there.
got
has,
GPT
like-
6.
Right.
They're sitting there
They
like
have this like
crazy shit.
advanced ass
Yeah.
program out there that can do like a fuck ton of things,
Yeah.
and like we're just getting like the scraps.
fourth.
Like, hey, this is some brand new. Try it
Yeah.
out. You know.
Yeah, we had this like 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, check it out.
I mean, even that too, because I mean, there's machine learning. So like,
Yeah.
your computer tends to learn you. So do your phones. Like that's how targeted ads start to be. So,
Yeah.
I guess if you're concerned about like AI getting too smart, I mean, it's already pretty smart as is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it has done nothing but really just benefit you as a person. It's like it recommends you things that you're interested in,
Right.
or just like, yeah, stuff like that basically.
And while I will say there is machine learning to a degree, you can also code to have it so it can't. Like, do you remember with ChatGPT, like with based, for instance, I can go and tell it and teach it what the term based means, but the next person who goes on ChatGPT on their computer and types in based, it's going to be right back to square one. It didn't learn a single thing. It only learned in that individual fraction of
Right.
itself.
Mhm.
And even then, that's not really learning because it's not going back to the main AI system that's actually producing.
Right.
It's just a subcategory that's being cut off and utilized for me. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah, that
ChatGPT.
makes sense.
It's not like the main one. It's a subderivative that doesn't even remember or catalog these things back to the main program. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like it'd be really challenging for someone who didn't create the AI themselves to go and like fuck it up like that, because like you would need a lot of access, and ChatGPT, it doesn't allow it.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's just a lot of fail safes built into
Yeah,
it.
it's. I mean, you can't even like get it to say poopy half the time if you wanted to. Like, it's like, no, it's a little, like it's set up to be avoidant towards negativity, and that's still there. It does fail sometimes. I've seen that it says like sometimes it may say a negative remark or something like that.
Like
An
what,
opinion. I don't know exactly, but it's in their warnings. It says like that it could potentially say something negative solely because it is based off of the internet. Like, it just has the information
Yeah.
of the internet. There's good and bad there, so
Yeah.
it has to learn to filter what is allowed to be said and what's not. But sometimes it slips through that filter. It's a
Yeah.
set filter, but stuff can get over it if it's worded weirdly.
Yeah, but about that negative too, I mean, like sometimes it's not really negative. It's kind of like opinion based too.
Yeah.
So like, say you search like, how do I solve this controversial topic? It's gonna give you just facts based off like what it feels is like.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
like-
not going to get. There's no opinionation involved. It's just facts. It's
Right.
just evidence based. Like, well, based on this, and this that have occurred, I determined that this would be a possible outcome. But
Right.
and then it'll even reiterate that saying like, I am just an AI. Like,
Right.
this is
Yeah.
not definite truth. This is my assumption based on principle of fact. Like,
Right.
I'm just basing it off of this.
Yeah,
So-
'cause I know that AI is really catching up, because I don't know if some of you guys have it. I have it. Snapchat Plus. Like,
Right.
out of nowhere, like I go on my phone the next morning and I'm just like, I never even added this person. Who the hell is this? Like, who the fuck is this? And then I look and I'm just like, it says my AI.
Yep.
It's like the same thing as ChatGPT, right?
Yeah, and like you ask questions or like help out, and then like it'll give you everything.
Wow.
I don't want to fuck with that, dude.
I
Yeah, no,
like,
especially
like,
on my
I'm not gonna
Snapchat,
lie.
like where I talk
I
to
started
my friends.
messing around with it. Like,
It says some crazy pictures on Snapchat. I can't fuck with that shit. It's dangerous.
I don't know where you just send it to the AI and it just responds about it.
It's like decent size.
Decent size.
It's like, what you
At
think?
least average.
What you think?
At least average.
Oh boy.
Nah, it's just like, whoa, that's above average.
That's about average.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like
you
the
just
1%.
respond, hey, that's above.
Yeah, that's above. Come on now.
Sorry.
It's the
above.
angle. It's the angle.
Yeah.
The angle.
So the angle, the lighting,
Yeah, nothing was perfect.
Shadow
for
work
that
wasn't
show.
quite there. I think
Yeah.
I could have had it a little better.
But I can send you a better one later, but you just gotta give me some time.
Oh boy.
What about TikTok? Do you guys think that is like, because a lot of people say like China is using that to like spy on Americans?
Oh, they
in a
are.
way?
Yeah.
They are.
You think
Oh,
so?
If you
yeah.
look at
Oh,
it in
yeah.
terms of
Pretty
service, there's a lot of data being collected that's
Yeah.
being redistributed wherever the owners want it redistributed.
Yeah, some people not backdoor. There's a term for it. I forgot what it is. But a bunch of coders went in there, went through the coding and all that stuff. Bunch of just fucking sketchy
Bullshit,
shit on it.
really?
I mean, Joe
Yeah.
Rogan touched on it too. There's like just a bunch of like
Sketchy.
spyware and all that
Yeah.
shit. Like all your data's being sent back to them.
Yup.
Even the U.S. government,
Yeah.
the what do they call the people? The FCC, I think it is.
I think so.
They issued a warning. They're like, hey, you should really not use this app because it's a national security threat at this point.
Yeah.
Because so much of information is getting sent over to them,
Yeah.
and then we don't know what they're doing with it. I mean, it could be harmless, but at the same time, I mean, there's a reason they're collecting that data.
I'm gonna run a little test while we're talking here. I open TikTok in my background, so it's just sitting open.
Mm-hmm.
I personally believe that it listens to conversation and then will
Most definitely.
produce your feed for you. I've had multiple situations where my friends and I are talking about something.
Mhm.
One of them will open TikTok, and the very first thing on their For You page is what they were speaking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
just before
Yeah.
opening their phone. So I would like to run a little test today and just validate or invalidate that theory. At least it would take multiple tests, but for one sake, I'm going to sit here, have our conversations, and I'm going to see what comes up on my phone after we're done today. If these topics come up in my For You page, because I've never seen anything of this on my page.
Yeah.
So if this comes up, that's how I know it definitely
I mean-
100% is listening and feeding your page as you. So, like, you can't even have it open in your background unless you're okay with every single word you say being recorded and being transferred to someone else. Right now, there's a more than 99% chance likelihood that this conversation is now not just between us,
Yeah.
but someone else.
Do you guys,
I'm taking that risk because I'm willing to test it, and we're recording a fucking podcast. This is already public information. This
Yeah.
is not a secret. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys remember about when Trump was in office. There was like rumors. I don't know if it's true. Or I think it is true that he tried to ban TikTok.
they were trying to
Same-
do that for
same
a
thing-
long
No, they
time.
tried to
Same
ban
thing with-
TikTok. Yeah, of
Same
course.
thing
That
with
was true.
our president right now.
Yeah, they tried to ban TikTok.
They have it banned on government phones now.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
yeah. So
And I
That's
think they're
crazy.
trying to get a push to get it banned again. Like, they're really pushing it.
No, yeah, they
Yeah.
keep pushing the bill. But I mean, it's a good reason. I mean, it goes into other apps too.
Yeah.
I mean, but you can't really blame TikTok. It's not the first app to
No.
do it.
Do
either.
that.
Oh yeah, fuck it.
Facebook
It's just
does
the
it.
biggest.
Doing that for
It's
the
just the
longest.
biggest right now.
Yeah.
And that's why it's their main concern.
I miss Vine.
And plus, Facebook is owned by the U.S.
Yeah,
or
that's what
it's a
it's
U.S.
saying.
company, so at least it's within their territory. But when it's a foreign country that has all their information from U.S. citizens,
No.
they get scared and they try to cut down and make sure that that's not happening.
Yeah, God
They're
forbid.
okay with the information getting sold, but only to Americans.
Yeah.
That's really where they
Yeah.
prefer it.
God forbid we go overseas with our information.
Right. But yeah, I've definitely been able to tell that shit has been going on for a while. Like, people are really trying to get a ban on TikTok.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Speaking of TikTok, I've seen some crazy ass videos on there, and of the few that I've seen, I would like to kind of segue into this next conversation. Have you guys seen any videos of aliens, or even more, just like, what are your thoughts on aliens? Do you think that aliens exist? And, like, have you had any experiences?
I mean, we were talking about it before off camera earlier,
Right.
and for me, I seen a lot of shit about it. Like, there's theories, there's all that shit, but
Right.
like the one I was talking about with Alaska,
Mm-hmm.
how I don't know, it looked like a flying car or something like that, but it went from the air, all right, and then like in 0.7 seconds, it just hovers down to like the water, like that fast, and I don't know if like there was like a UFO or something like that getting chased by
U.S.
by the Air Force or something like that. I don't know if you guys seen the video of that, and then like when they got it down, they started transporting it all the way to Nevada. And people are like sending videos and stuff, but I don't know if that's real or that's a prop. You
Yeah,
know?
right. Yeah, I have no idea. I have a hard time trusting like those types of videos on the internet. There's so many people who fake it just to fake
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
just
plus-
to get the views.
Plus, there's like cop cars like around it as well,
right.
like military and all that. But I don't know if it's like I said, a prop or like
Like that could
someone
have
making
been.
a
That,
movie
that, I
or
was just
something
about
like
to say
that.
like
you know
that could
what
have been from the shooting of a movie. Like
Yeah.
we have no definitive answer because we weren't there.
Or people just like trying to fake it for the video, like setting it all up to look like that, just so they can get views on it later.
I mean? Yeah, it's like you guys remember? I don't know when it was. It's 20 something. I think this is when we were in school, but remember like to run over to Area 51.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they're just trying to run.
yeah,
Charge it at the
but
same time.
but it's scary because they have snipers that are like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
far away from
Ready to
Area
go.
51 that have good aim, good shots, They even have like drones. They even like know they have like sensors and all this stuff. Like I seen like, and I seen we're all familiar with this YouTuber, Mr. Beast. He
Yeah.
went to Area 51, you know, and shot the outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he had like a warning, like, you know, don't go closer to this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come closer, or else this will happen. I think it'll say like you'll get up to like 5 years in
Yeah.
prison
Okay.
or some shit like that.
No, yeah, they take it very serious. Crossing
Very
over,
serious.
getting close to it.
Well, everybody wants to know, what are they hiding? Because you don't know if it'll mess up, you know, in the future. Something will happen because they didn't say, hey, we got this, but it might.
Right.
I don't know. But I know it'll cause some chaos sometimes.
Right.
I don't know. I personally believe the universe is way too big to just be us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
out
where
here,
my that's
it's
where my
way
mind
too
goes.
big.
My beliefs fall under like probability and statistic. Like that, I'm a very like scientific mathematic. Like I really do follow like what kind of makes sense.
Right.
And the probability of us being the only living existing planet in this entire universe is unrealistic as fuck.
Yeah.
Like that is
sure.
so unrealistic and center-minded to believe that we're the only things that exist anywhere. This is it. This is it. That's kind of fucking. I just feel like
It's
it's
like
almost
arrogant.
shallow-minded. Like you need to like think deeper. Like there is so much to this universe. There's so we're
Sure.
fucking ants. We're not even ants. We're like atoms if we're compared to the size of the universe. Like we're nothing. And you really think that we're everything? I don't know. I can't believe that myself. Like it may not be like I'm not saying it has to be some like alien like in the movies where like, you know, some ass or alien versus
Yeah.
predator. None of that. Like it can literally be like some type of like living similar to like a fungal or like, you know, like mushrooms. That's life. That is an alien for it wasn't from
Right.
Earth. You know, like if it grows and it's living, if it's a living thing, even if it's a plant, that's a living creature from a separate planet. I would consider that alien life. It's not an alien itself, but it's alien life.
It's
It is
life.
not exactly. It's life, and it's not from Earth. Anything not on Earth is alien.
Right.
I would say that it's more likely than not that there's alien life in this universe.
So do you think they have visited planet Earth yet?
I think if they have looked at Earth, at least from my perspective, my personal opinion,
Right.
if I was an alien and I looked at Earth, and I know like if you're far away, things don't look the same. Like if they're
Yeah.
looking at Earth from 200,000 light years away, they're looking 200,000 years in the past. So they're seeing 200,000 years ago old Earth. They don't know that we're here right now if that's where they're at, looking in.
Mm.
But if they're close, then they would see where we're at now. But even then, if you saw a planet full of these reptilian creatures destroying themselves, or these people blowing themselves up with bombs, shooting themselves with
Shooting
guns,
themselves.
they can't even control themselves amongst themselves. How can
Yeah.
they be convinced that we're not going to go and try to take over everyone and murder anything?
Yeah.
Like, we're savage animals to the eyes of the universe, probably. We're savage beasts. We kill ourselves. We're I don't want to say we're outcast, but we're not welcome to the club if there's a club, because we need to figure shit out.
Sometimes I think there's like a multiverse. Like there's different
Right,
there's
like
different us,
universes.
different universes like Earth 365. You know,
Like just infinite, really.
Yeah.
Like I believe that there's infinite universes.
Yeah.
Or like infinite parallel universes.
yeah. So I think, to me, like every time I think of it, it sounds crazy, but it might be true. Like let's say there's a demo in like another universe. You're rich in that universe.
Damn, not this one, huh?
Not this one, no.
Pick the wrong one.
Pick the wrong one.
Wrong one, man. I'm doing a podcast right now.
Here I am. No,
Oh, the film
looks
was
like
on a
none
boat.
of us
Yeah.
none of us hit that one on this one, so hey, at
Okay.
least not yet.
What about you, Alex? What you think?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on aliens?
I don't know. Like you guys said, I mean, it's really slim possibility that we're the only ones.
Yeah.
But like you said, I know there's a theory out there, and I really wish I did more research on it. But there's one where like we're kind of not necessarily like the ancient civilization, but the one that kind of developed to the point where we can like move around, function. Like kind of like you said, maybe there's fungi or mushrooms out there that are alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like we maybe got to the bat too fast, you know? Like we're there before like other species started developing
Okay.
to our level of, you know,
Okay.
maybe comprehension, understanding. And maybe they have their own forms of it, like we just don't understand it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't really say there is or isn't.
Yeah.
And like on the topic of like, oh, you know, UFO spottings and all that. I mean, people thought spy planes were UFOs back in the day. The
That's
US
true. Like
Sure,
you
yeah.
can't you can't just definitely say.
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. has a fucking plane that goes up into the stratosphere. I think it's like a Blackbird or something like that. I think it's called. And people like freak the fuck out because I think it would break the sound barrier. It fucking zoomed out.
It's fast.
I mean, and if they did that back in the 80s and 70s, imagine what they have now.
Today.
Exactly.
Like, they could have things that look alien to us that we just can't understand because it hasn't been released yet.
Right, nothing's declassified.
And this is nothing new. Like, there, if you go and look, like, there are declassified files from the 80s and 90s showing the things that we're getting today, or like in the 2010s, were around in the 80s and 90s in testing, like getting formulated and officiated. So by the time the 2010s hit, it's been around for 20, 30 years, and they know what they're doing at that point with it. They know it's safe, they know it's maintainable, and they know how to work with it. It's been around for decades. And that's crazy to think about. Like, how many things out here have already been around for 20 years prior to us knowing?
Do you think they might have, like, had AI already, or they kind of like?
We touched on that earlier.
Out of anyone who would have gotten access to advanced intelligence and artificial intelligence, it is not the general public. Right. It was the military. They've had this for 20-something years. They have to have. They just weren't allowed to speak about it. It's all classified information because that's not stuff the world was ready to know in 1980, 1990, even 2000. The computers were just becoming really popularized. They would have been like, it's going to be able to answer everything, and no matter what it is, do it and create pictures and like we're still learning what the internet is, and then they're realizing that there's something that can break the internet. That's too big for that time period. This is something that we needed time to get used to the internet with. So I think they've had it for a long time, and they're just now talking about it more.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't give the government so much credit to them. I mean, they drop the ball sometimes too. They're not exactly the
I'm not saying they're like perfect with everything.
Right.
I just feel like
sometimes.
With something this large and with how much fear it's instilled in the public, and that's with it being publicly released under a safety.
Yeah.
Imagine what fear and chaos it would have caused in the 80s and 90s while the internet was already scaring people to death because they thought it was scary to have everything connected. And I remember, like, I've seen things where people back then were talking about how, like, someday people are going to be hearing everything you say over a device in your pocket.
No.
That's real.
That's
reality. They weren't far-fetched. So what else could they have been right about? And that's why I think, like, this would have been one of the bigger ones that the government tried to cover up, because they know how detrimental it could be back to that time period. If people were figuring that out then, when they were already scared of phones, and they were right about what the phones were going to be doing, they would have freaked the fuck out knowing that there was an intelligence this intelligent, that something that could be smarter than them.
Yeah.
Sure shit.
It's scary to them because computers back then weren't smarter than they didn't think it was smarter than them. It was something they made, but then they realized this thing has everything. Like it's all the information in the world.
I don't know. I think there's just that notion of like the next generation is getting used to this type of lifestyle. And when you think about it, years, like we're talking years on years ago, people didn't like books. They said it make you stupid because like, oh, you're not memorizing what you're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking loser, you know.
And now it's like if you don't read, your brain could deteriorate.
Exactly.
Like you should be reading. It helps your brain maintain.
Right.
Sometimes I hate.
All right, bro. What's the last book you read?
I'm reading.
I haven't read since high school, probably.
I've read
An
a
actual
book.
book?
This is why you're not on the yacht that much.
This is why I'm listening to you.
I can't.
Makes sense.
I can't remember the name, but I'm reading two right now. One is just like a Norse mythology, just like general kind of. I read that before bed, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but it's so good. It's about World War One, or actually no, maybe it's World War Two. All I know is it's based on a true story, and it's about a teacher in World War II who had a whole bunch of kids in Poland who end up getting sent to like this concentration, not a camp, but like a village. Like they were forced to live in one area, and like walled up and everything. So and he was a teacher, and it's just basically about him trying to like help them survive and stay positive and have faith in the future in the world, regardless of what's occurring in the economic status and in the political status, like with everything going on, war, and he's trying to maintain faith in the kids and make them see that like there's a future possible still. Like don't give up faith.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Chris, when's the last time you read a book?
Shit, probably 2019.
Book.
What's a book, bro? What the fuck's a book? Nah, bro, I'm not much of a reader. I'll be honest with you. Like sometimes I think about how the fuck did I graduate high school. But you know what I'm surprised about? I graduated with a 3.0 GPA.
Nice.
3.0?
3.0, yes.
Nice.
I don't even know what I hit.
I thought my shit was gonna be low because I slack off a lot in school. I think
Fair enough.
and plus in senior year, I think for me, I focused a lot. I even gave up football.
Yeah, I remember you quit the team and everything.
I gave up football
because you wanted to graduate.
'Cause I wanted-
assuredly, like
Yeah.
in confidence, like
But sometimes I kind of do regret it.
like quitting football.
Yeah,
Mm.
because I know like I missed out like
The fun, I guess.
The fun.
Like, yeah.
What was it called? Like senior night? Yeah.
Yeah,
I missed
that.
out on that, like there was a lot of sports I missed out. Like
Gotcha.
I quit. I used to be on the swim team freshman year, and then I think sophomore year I just stopped because I don't know, different coach maybe.
Fair enough.
And plus my freshman year it was like these upperclassmen that were like funny and like you got along with,
Yeah.
But sometimes I regret stuff in
Okay.
high school which I would have done.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
So
I think we
I-
all have some
yeah.
sort of idea.
I know-
like,
I know-
"Oh, should've
I know
done that."
we got off topic a
Yeah.
little bit, but like it's how I felt.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
But I know I met you guys. Like I met Colin
Yeah.
sophomore year. I had an exchange student,
Yep.
cool ass dude,
Jorge.
and I met Colin from him. That's one thing.
Mhm.
I met you guys from like middle school.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm pretty sure I met
Yeah.
you guys through Ricardo. And like that was like the friend I met who like hung out with you guys. And then I kind of met you through Ricardo, but then we had gym. I know Alex and I had gym our senior year. That's
Yeah.
how we became friends because we just hung out. But like I'm pretty sure we started talking originally that year because you knew that I was friends with Ricardo or something, or like he had added me to the group chat. All I remember is that I had known you through Ricardo. That's what I remember. But yeah, to get back on topic, school stuff. I would say, all in all, I don't know. Aliens definitely exist somewhere. It may not be like super advanced yet, but there's no in my idea, there's no way there's not some type of life out there. That's not us.
you know what we forgot. What about you,
Oh,
man?
that's-
Huh? What about you? What was the last book you read, bro?
Oh yeah.
Huh?
I don't know, because if I start talking about a book, we're just going to get off topic.
What was
We might
at
just
least-
start talking
at
about
least-
high
at least
school.
just- at least
Reading
just
a
say
beer
what was
menu
the
doesn't
last-
count as reading, Alex. Talking about a
Yeah,
book.
I mean,
Talk about
it's
a book,
literature
not
both
a
ways. I mean,
Nah.
no, I've been reading this one series, and it's like Size. It's a really nice series. Well, it has 3 books, different titles.
Okay.
But anyways, the general purpose of it is like a society it's pretty good to the topic too. It's because it's a society that's kind of dominated by an AI as its
Oh.
governing body.
Okay.
So like you can talk to it like with your phone or just with the
But
whatever.
that's the governing.
That's the government.
body.
It has like a non-biased opinion. It's just everything's factual.
Wow.
Like kind of like ChatGPT, just everything. Like you're like, oh, I'm feeling depressed. Oh, here's something you could do. We can schedule you therapy. Like everything's not. I don't know if everything's free, but everything's
Right.
based on like the public services are always guaranteed. Like and then on top of that, you can't die in that society. They've gotten so advanced to the point because of AI that you can't die. But the issue of the society is that there's going to be such overpopulation because
'Cause
of
no
the
one's
fact that
dying.
you can die, that there's this group of people that are assigned the task of, hey, you got to go unalive
Kill
some
people?
people. Right.
On a line.
So they have to do it in a non-biased way that is checked by them and the AI at the same time.
Okay.
But in order to like keep that AI separate from like the biases that you're going to get no matter what because you're human, both those bodies are separated. So there's the government head, which is the AI,
Yeah.
and then there's the society that are assigned to kill people.
Okay.
And they cannot interact directly, or else they're gonna get that non-biased, influential on that AI.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a really interesting book. I always enjoy reading it because
You
like
guys
it gives you a new,
books.
It's
it
just
gives
like,
you a new
whoa.
perspective on
Yeah.
it. And like you said, like with the AI coming around, it also gives you like, okay, this is kind of how it looks.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're different than what a fictional
Yeah, of
world
course.
is.
But like you can base some of those ideas in reality.
Right.
Like the realistic thing is like it's hard to say that that's unrealistic. Like some things are just they're realistic. Like it may
Right.
not have happened and it may be a work of fiction,
Mm.
but it's possible. Like it's still something that could happen.
Yeah.
Get you guys reading books and shit.
Oh, God.
But to continue on with our conversations, and we lightly touched on this in a way. I was talking about how like how the 80s and 90s were and how people thought then. But like here's a big thing, and just something that we've got on our list. But like, do you think the world feels like it's had some sort of like really major shift since like the early 2000s, like early 2000s, 2010s. Like, they just
yeah.
it doesn't even feel like we live in the same world anymore.
Yeah.
It feels like a different world we live in.
Yeah, but well, I was thinking that kids now these days, they don't know what we experienced in our childhood.
Kids now these days. I mean,
Kids now these days,
Kids
like,
these days.
We're still young.
Oh yeah, you're
I
right.
wouldn't- like we're young
I should say.
adults.
Let me say this: kids today,
Like literally
Younger
today.
kids.
literally
Yeah,
younger
younger.
kids
I was
today.
gonna say, like, you can't keep saying kids. Like, we're still young adults, but like we're damn near kids. 50-year-old, we're kids. So yeah, but like young kids, young children today
yeah,
don't
but,
have the same.
Yeah. Kids
life.
today.
Yeah,
they
but-
didn't experience what we experienced.
other generations
But-
can always say the same thing, though. I mean, like,
That's another thing I was thinking as I've been hearing all this. I'm like, I feel like I've heard this from my parents, about my generation, about my grandparents, about my parents' generation. Like, I think this is
Yeah.
just a human nature
it's just
fact.
generational gaps.
We always feel like the other generation doesn't have what we have, but that's part of life. No generation is
Yeah.
going to have the exact same upbringing to a T, you know? Just
Right.
things are always going to be different for each generation coming through. That's why there's generations in the first place. It's because things happen in generational steps. It's not just like we've been on a consistent, this is everything, you know?
Yeah, but like I was saying, kids don't know that. You know, now they have iPads, they have phones,
Yeah,
everything like
iPads
that.
as little
Like,
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
but-
even have that until
yeah,
6th grade.
we
Like, I
didn't-
never had a phone, anything like
Never
that.
had an iPad.
6th grade. Oh no, I never had an iPad, but like I got a phone in 6th grade, and that was because I was walking to school 2 miles away. And my parents wanted to know that I was good and calling.
Yeah.
So that was the main reason. I didn't get a phone because every other child had a phone, which is I feel like today's mindset is just like, well, all the other kids have phones, they need a phone. It's today's society.
Yeah, like-
Yeah.
Just buy them a phone.
Yeah, like,
But like back then, it was like if you didn't have the need for a phone, like you're walking to school like that, and you need to call your parents and make sure you're good.
yeah, that's
Like
that's the
I
reason
don't
to have a
understand
phone.
why every kid has a phone right now. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Like not all of them need a phone for
That,
what they have.
that's a reason to have a phone.
Like needing
Yeah.
to call your parents. And, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but
Maybe a track phone if you're younger.
I was gonna
Like,
say maybe just a track
if
phone
you-
'cause that's
if you
what
need-
I had.
Yeah,
Fifth
like I
grade.
will say, come to think of it, when I would visit here, yeah, track phone. I would get a track phone, but that's you can call and you can text. That is your life. You can text your parents and call your parents. So,
I used to have like a little blue flip phone in like
Okay.
middle school.
I
Limited minutes, limited text. and all
yeah.
that.
I used to have one of those. Like it was sometime in elementary, but again, it was because my parents would be out and I'd be on my own, so they wanted to make sure I'm good and they can contact me directly. So I would just have a phone on me. I never really used it much, but it existed. But that's like as far as it needs to go. Like kids, like seeing a 5-year-old with an iPad is just kind of ridiculous.
They're just on it like
it's
That
like,
thing is as
just-
large as their torso. Like it's
Yeah.
just, it's surprising.
it's crazy.
scary. Though.
Plus,
It
and
is.
Plus,
It's like where's that gonna head?
Plus
Like,
we-
you need this to survive now. Like you've instilled this into your brain. Like this is life. This is how we exist. This is how I exist at least. So what about their children? You know, like the guy who grew up thinking that that's the only way to exist is with those things. How's his children gonna be raised? You know, it's like
yeah.
man, like I really wonder where everything's gonna head in the next few years. Just I'm curious.
Yeah, because we all have that good childhood. Because, like I said, no phones, right? And we all had to go outside and play.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like with the
I-
neighbors,
Yeah.
you know, all
Make
that.
friends with the neighbors, ride your
But
bike around the
in-
neighborhood, go to the park
Oh,
and
yeah.
play around, just do something.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
we used to do that.
Or even
You
in
know,
high school, we would do that. Like we didn't
high
even,
school, Colin
yeah,
and I,
we would still go and
yeah,
go
we'll still
outside and
play
hang
ball,
out and
all
go
that.
hoop or anything,
Yeah.
man, just to get outside.
instead
Like,
of being
it's-
on our phone.
It was instilled in our generation. Like we when we're bored, it's not like, oh, well, I'm just gonna. It's like, okay, like, do I want to go out and do this? Do I want to go out and do that? Blah, blah, blah. You know, and I might consider video games, but that I don't play video games solo often at all. I'm really more of like, if I'm playing video games, that's my social activity. I'm doing it because I'm playing with friends.
Yeah.
Like when you guys aren't online, 9 times out of 10, I'm not playing video games. Like I rarely will like maybe hop on like Call of Duty or something. But like if I'm not playing with a friend, I don't play video games. I have no desire, like zero. So when like video games for me are very social. That's my social game. Like that's a social thing. It's not a game or like a personal thing.
Right.
I couldn't care less whether or not I achieve anything. You know, like I have no personal desire for achievement in games, but I do have a desire to spend time playing with my friends.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you guys back to that, do you guys think like social media could be harmful for like a younger person growing up now? Because
Of course,
you
of course,
mentioned
social
that-
media is harmful to anyone if you use it too much and if it's not regulated. It's already.
right.
So especially
So
a
you-
younger mind who's developing and learning what the world's supposed to be.
So you think there should be regulation? Like what's the cutoff age?
I would say that
social media?
it shouldn't be federal. It should be based on the apps themselves, but they should be taking into account that they've got children getting onto the.
If you leave it to the app though, they're just gonna be like,
Fuck,
no age
well,
limit.
I don't know. That's
They
not
just want them
necessarily
more
the.
people.
But I don't know if that's the case because like there are people who post weed on Instagram who get deleted every day, and that's it. They get views, they get traction. Instagram's getting used, 200 thousands in views, but they'll still delete it solely because it's weed.
But I'm talking about kids being on social media. Do you think
That's still illegal. It's still against their terms of policy. Go into their terms of policy, and they say you
Yes.
must be 18 years of
Yeah.
age, or it's like 13 with parent consent.
I'm saying, do
That's-
you think 18 is good?
Yeah.
If you're, you need to know self-regulation, and I feel like not many 18-year-olds do.
I feel
So-
like it should be.
I'm not saying like 18-year-olds aren't able to take care of themselves, but they're still 18 is a kid. 20, we're 22. We're still kids, like in a way. So we're still learning and developing. I can't say that I like have full faith in an 18-year-old regulating social media properly. I think that's something that would need to be taught like by someone. Like someone would need to like explain things, like whether they be the parent, like, hey, guys, this is not safe. Like you need to be regulated. You
No,
can't
I'm
just
saying,
go
do you
crazy.
need to be 18 to use an app? Are you saying? Is that what you're saying?
That's most of the rules, and
Yeah.
it's
That's
I
not
wouldn't-
the rule.
Facebook has it.
yeah.
too.
18 is
When I
Facebook.
first signed up back when I was in high school.
When I signed
Yeah.
up for Facebook, I know for a fact I was supposed to be 18.
Yeah.
Like you
Oh,
weren't supposed to
yeah.
have one under.
It
18.
gives you the
Yeah.
warning.
Twitter,
it's like,
you
Well,
were
yeah, I
supposed
know
to
a
be-
lot of people have like their
Facebook,
birthdays like
Twitter, and
they're like
Instagram.
19.
They're 28 right now,
Yeah.
but you're 21 right now.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter all have age restriction, but they don't actively enforce it. I think
Right.
Instagram's 13, and I think Facebook is 13 now with parent consent. But I still think that Twitter's 18 because it allows
Oh, yeah, Twitter is
NSFW right on the page. You can see titties,
Oh, yeah.
porn. It's all there. So you gotta with Twitter. Like I would imagine they enforce that. Like you
Thank
gotta
you,
be
Elon.
18.
Come on, Elon Musk,
you,
what are you doing, bro?
But as far as Instagram and Facebook, no. Like there's definitely rules, but do they follow them to a T? I would say no. But I would say. I don't want to say like it should be 18, but I think there should be regulations on account that are listed under the age of 18. Does that
Well,
make sense? Like I think it
yeah,
shouldn't even show
Should be like
particular
like
content. Like it
limited.
shouldn't even pop up.
Should just be limited.
Yeah.
Like it's like a kid's one. Like it
Yeah.
won't even show particular content until it knows you're past the age gap.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
get
then
it.
you could just do what we did and lie and say you're 18 when you're not.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah,
so like
that's-
it's
that's
hard.
a
It's
tough
so
part,
hard
though.
to beat that. It's a hard. That's a hard thing to get
Yeah.
across and to overcome.
Well,
Yeah, like I was buying GTA when I was like, I
Oh,
was playing
yeah.
GTA when I was like 10 years old, you know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I'd be buying Call of
The
Duty
hacks.
games on my Xbox online at 10, 12. Buying
Yeah,
Call of
oh,
Duty
yeah,
games
for
online.
real.
I remember I was 17, and I went to GameStop, and I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just like, oh, the new Call of Duty's out. I'm gonna go buy a Call of Duty real quick. Go hit it up and whatnot. I get there, blah blah blah. They're like, do you have an ID? And I'm like, fuck, like you have to be 18 to buy this. Like I forgot that this is illegal.
Or when you go to GameStop with your mom and you're like under the age,
Yeah.
and like you bring it up to the counter and the dude like gives them the warning to your mom, and so it kind of like fucks it up for
yeah,
you.
you're just like, why?
There's drugs, there's nudity, there's fucking in this game. Are you sure you want to let them buy this? I'm like,
Like, bro, shut up.
shut the fuck
Shut the fuck up, bro. I
You're
just want to
snitching right
play.
now, dude. Snitching.
I know up, dog.
I will say I never had that experience.
No?
Nah, dude. I like all my games were either like old games or like used games I'd go buy,
Mm.
or like I don't know. Like it was never like I was never there with my parents. Like I hardly ever went to GameStop. Honestly, I think I've only ever gotten like maybe like 5 video games from GameStop in my life, like in entirety through the years. I've gotten like COD Ghosts. I think I bought BO2 like twice there, and then
I love
a
BO2.
couple other things. Like I really don't go there much, so like
BO2.
I've never had that
fucking
happen.
classic.
yeah, BO2 is a classic. We've been getting back into
That's where everybody like.
That's where boys
Both,
became men.
Boys
Yeah.
became men. Yep.
I don't know. I kind of enjoy BO3 a bit because it just has you could.
Well, no,
access
I
everything
enjoyed
from it.
BO3 too, but I meant that literally. Like I meant
Bro,
that literally,
listen.
No, they're listening.
that's where we went from like middle schoolers into high school. So
Yeah.
like we definitely like that game was popular for like 4
Remember-
fucking years.
Remember, used to
hell
be in
yeah.
a clan.
Like it overplayed Ghost, it overplayed Advanced Warfare, and people even went back from BO3 to BO2.
Yeah.
Like all 3 of the future games ended up just going back to BO2 and playing that again. Like that game was active. That was the longest running active Call of Duty for like in terms of like fully stacked lobbies.
Mm.
Other than like I would say the last one like that was like no like BO1 and all of them were good, but were they ever full for 4 years straight? Because I know when BO2 came out was what 4 years after MW2, 3 years after MW, 2 years.
Maybe, I don't know. I just know I love them.
Bro, they
2012
drop one
was
every year,
MW2,
dude.
right?
It's hard to keep track at this point.
I don't know, man, but
Well, it was MW2.
The years are just flowing.
And
by
then
now.
these- three.
yeah, I'm getting too
Yeah.
old.
And then BO2, right?
I think Black Ops dropped
Am I
before
No, I think
MW.
Oh,
BO2 was in between.
No,
that.
yeah, it was MW2, Black Ops 1, MW3, Black Ops 2.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, 3 games different, like 3 years difference. And even then, people were playing BO1 and MW3. They weren't stuck on MW2. But they weren't stuck. But people were stuck on BO2. Like,
MW2
still.
was a classic too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not a classic. I'm just saying like the community didn't choose to go back to MW2 when MW3 came out, or when BO1 came out. But when Ghost, Advanced Warfare, and BO3 came out, the community chose to go back to Black Ops 2, showing how goated of a game it was for its time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
One thing I hated is all the hackers, man.
Yeah.
It's like and then
Yeah.
right now, like I hate playing MW2, like MW2, like
Really?
2022,
22.
right? 22, yeah.
Yeah, it's just hackers in that game.
I just hate it. I think I enjoyed MW 2019.
Okay.
That one I always grind on because I didn't have to get this gun because I had to upgrade this gun to get that gun to get that attachment, and it's just like
Their upgrade system's a little dumb.
yeah,
Their UI is just ridiculous.
Oh my
too.
They recently updated it to be a little better, but it's still pretty shitty.
that's why I don't play it. That's why you play it on my account.
But I played on your account.
Bro,
I haven't.
Colin got banned, bro, for
Weren't you guys
for
there?
indefinitely,
Oh,
bro.
I know you were playing with
Well,
us
you got
that night.
banned for what?
Bro, and that's the thing. I don't know. We
He-
played
he's too good,
S&D.
bro.
I got fucking shit on. Like, absolutely fucking shit on. I was pissed off. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to fucking play anymore. I'm getting off for the night. Called it a night. Quit the game. Closed it all out. I quit mid-game. Fucking, like, turned my PC off. Fucking pissed as fuck. I was like, the next day I got back on. I was like, fuck, I'll go play some Call of Duty. Whatever. Just, you know.
He said, "Fuck."
And so I open it up, and I go to play, and it says purchase, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I go, and I try to click it and stuff, and I like end up sending an email trying to figure out what the fuck is happening. And like, yeah, your account's been permanently banned. You have no access to the game.
Crazy.
Okay. So after that night, I have 4. Whoever was playing with us, there's like 5 witnesses because we was a 6-man. Literally 5 witnesses. Like I got shat on. Like shit.
Oh yeah,
on.
bro.
I got dicked. It was terrible.
Bro,
and then I
frustrated.
fucking got banned.
Bro, he was shooting at a VTOL with Ricardo, and the VTOL came back at them and killed them. While it
I
shut
was in
down.
that game.
He
It came
I was
down.
there too, and they're
Not
like,
highway
what the fuck? We clipped it too.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
That's just bad luck right there.
Yeah.
That's a sign, bro.
I think Call of Duty just did you a favor and just like, you know what, this guy's getting way too stressed in
Yeah.
this game.
I'm gonna
That's just
take
made
it
it
away
Let's
from
take it
him.
off his shoulders.
Yeah.
No, I just
Oh, he's
played
on
through
this
Chris.
Christy account.
Honestly, it made it better because we have different play styles. I'm not saying that in an offensive way. It's just true. We have different. We play Call of Duty
yeah.
differently. So like,
I play on tactical.
No, I play
on-
tactical.
You play on tactical?
no,
too?
I'm talking about like just our
Oh.
game, like the way you actually run and gun, the way you're
Oh,
shooting
okay,
people.
okay.
We play differently, so it bases it on your matchmaking. And then I'll go and sign onto your account and start playing against people. So I'm playing against people who play like you, and I'm a lot more run and gun and rush, and like
Yeah.
I'm very quick and snappy. So playing like I've noticed like the people are more like, I don't want to say like wafflers, but they kind of like just dupe around. Like they don't necessarily go crazy.
Grass.
Yeah, he's
I don't say that.
I'm
Yeah,
fucking. I'm not gonna lie, I'm fucking ass, man. Well, it's MW2, so like
It
I'm not gonna
is-
be good at it.
It is
right now.
skill-based matchmaking, so I
Yeah.
mean, he is. Sorry, Chrissy.
I mean, it's MW2, so I don't like the game.
I may have fucked your account up though. Like if you hop on these days, it may be a lot harder. Cause I got your KD to like a 1.12 or like a 1.2 or something. Like I
Now-
brought it up.
I feel like every year is the same game, you know, same bullshit.
Now,
Same thing every season.
MW 2019, bro. I was on that bitch 24/7. You can ask him. We used to live here, right here, me, fucking gaming all night, bro.
Yep.
Even when we build the room, gaming all night.
I remember that man was addicted to the Odin, the gun.
Oh yeah, bro. I got like that anime skin. I was like grinding for it because I wanted to see it in gold. When I got it, I was like, looks pretty mid. Go to the next gun.
But yeah, man, we So all in all, just to wrap everything back into
Kinda went hella off
Yeah,
topic there.
So we're talking about like the major shifts that have happened since like 2010, or like if we think of one. So we all can kind of agree, like we do feel like there was something, like some sort of change in the world.
During
I-
COVID.
I feel like COVID too, quarantine was a big part in it, but I also feel like since 2010, I feel like social media
Has
has been
influenced a lot.
big
Yeah.
change.
It's changed.
And, like,
It's
society
not what
and
it was.
everything.
YouTube is not what it was in 2010.
A lot of people changed because of social media. That's why I feel
Absolutely, like personalities have
yeah,
changed
like
Oh,
people
yeah.
are
due
just
to online. Absolutely.
people
And-
care way too much
About dumb
what they
stuff.
look on social
Yeah.
media, how many likes, stupid shit like that. So I feel like
And then like trends and challenges will come along and like they almost ostracize the people who aren't partaking in social media trending stuff. And it's like, yo, like I'm not trying to be involved like that. Like I don't care about social media. I'm trying to stay distance from it. And that's what I realized, like the fact that there are trends that go as viral as they do is scary. Because it just shows like that many people are just doing it to do it. Like it's just like, well, I saw someone else do it. So fuck it, it looks fun.
and people also like what's the word? They like make people feel bad if you're not this popping on social media. Like I know in high school, people were like, people would talk about how many likes you get. Like, oh, this person only gets like 20 likes. He's not really that all that.
Yeah,
Oh, but
that's
this person,
dumb.
he's Facebook famous.
Right, like
He gets
who
100
cares?
likes.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
He's cool as fuck. Like,
And I feel like people still hold on to that. Like if
Oh,
they
yeah,
get
for
likes
sure.
on Facebook or likes on Instagram or retweets on Twitter, they get some like they feel like validated.
They get, like,
in
a
sense.
boost,
Yeah,
ego
like
boost or something.
their ego gets touched. They're like, ooh, like I'm that guy. I'm that fucking guy
Like-
because people love me. And it's like, dude, tone it down. Like it's good to love yourself. It's another thing to be a fucking egomaniac.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, maybe it makes someone's day. Who knows? But
Yeah,
if you gotta kind of balance it out, because if you just make it your whole personality, like you're saying, it's
Yeah.
just like, dude,
like
relax.
if your whole personality is like being the goat or like
Right.
being the
Well-
best of the best of the best
just
in that.
flexing,
And
you know?
like yeah, it's lacking. It's lacking substance.
Gotcha. But I mean, to going all the way back to when we originally talked about kids and social media and all that stuff, I don't think there should be. Obviously, there should be some regulation, but like you said, there's always workarounds for regulations. There's always people lying or just going around it in different ways.
Absolutely.
So I think instead of like trying to control them, you should probably just give better education to it. You know, I don't know, maybe in like a school setting.
That's why
or
I
maybe
was
just
trying
your
to touch
parents.
on that earlier.
Yeah.
Family. I really think it's the parents' job. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, like
Oh yeah.
it's gonna be really hard to get an education system, and not only that, do we really, as parents, like, is that really what we want our kids having to learn at school, or should we just take it on our responsibility to teach them about proper social media usage at home, so when they're at school they can learn about math, science, and the important things. Not that this is not important, but it's something that we can teach. It's not something that needs to be taught by a teacher. We can handle that job.
Well, I mean, at this point, I feel like social media is just kind of ingrained in our. There's no way going around it. It's ingrained
it's
in our
ingrained
society.
forever, or at least
Yeah.
for the good future.
Right.
Social media is the thing.
So I don't think,
it's
like-
going to be around.
Like you said, like maybe not exactly like a general focused class, but maybe like, you know, computers and technology are starting to come up big in school, like obviously.
I was taking
So,
IT classes in middle school.
Right.
Like they had it, yeah.
Mhm. So like maybe like obviously now since it's gonna be a part of life, not maybe just like a mandatory class that
Yeah.
like glazes on all aspects of the internet and stuff and helps
And like
you
what's
educate
harmful,
yourself.
what's what's useful, how to use it for benefits instead of negatives, and how
Right.
to not let it affect your mental health. But I think that's a big factor. They need to openly state that this can directly affect your mental health,
Right.
negatively or positively, and it's a tool that you need to learn to use responsibly
Right.
because it will tip that scale. It's indefinite that it will, and it's just a matter of having regulation to keep that in balance and not all over the fucking place.
Like you said, parents need to just regulate that more with their kids instead of just like throwing them an iPad and just letting them
and not even looking at what they're watching.
2 hours.
Like, not even like watching a video that they're watching.
Exactly.
Sit down with your kid and watch one video that they're watching just to see like what is the content they're viewing. What's being said? What is there something in here that I really don't want my kid picking up on right now?
There's a lot of bullshit on YouTube.
Even
on the kids section, there's like
even then, yeah,
weird shit.
It's weird. It's unnatural, and kids don't know what's natural and what's not. They think it's reality when it's all a fake, a scheme. They can't differentiate.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, obviously now everybody's also concerned about like how this new generation is growing up with it. Like I feel old talking like this.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I feel old right now.
I mean, it is the fact though. I mean, like there's already concern about exactly this topic. So I mean, apps are getting a bit better on it. There's always been parental controls on apps and everything.
Absolutely.
But now they're actually stressing it. I mean, I've seen things on TikTok too. Like maybe I'm looking at it for too long. It'll like bring up like a quick ad.
It'll bring an ad up that says like, "Hey, drink some water, take a break, go do your thing."
Do something.
Yep.
You know?
Literally tells you get off your phone.
Yeah.
Like get off your
It's
phone,
getting better.
go live. It's helpful that they have that. They just need to keep enforcing that. And just keep pushing those directives. Just like, hey, care for yourself. Like it's cool to use social media, but do human things. Go take care of yourself.
Yeah. They also have the what was it? You can limit your screen time basically.
Yeah. That's all through phones. You don't even need to do it through an app. You can do that for your phone now.
Yeah.
Phones allow you to limit how much you use them and set numbers. That's cool. And I know that like things like your internet service provider have family settings built right in. You can go to his direct account and say you have a kid, you have all the devices to that kid linked to that account. You can click on that kid's name, set parental controls, and now everything has been banned from any type of negativity, any type of... So, like, there are things out there. I just think we need to continue to push those and to continue to show, like, this is important and we need to stick on top of this if we want to maintain a positive society and a positive outlook and, based in reality and not just online. Like, there needs to be a dissonance. There needs to be that connection disconnect from what is in online and what's on that stuff and what's going on right in front of you, in front of your face. That this is the real world. Online is online. There needs to be that separation. Like that distinct, like, these are two separate things.
Yeah, that's why I said education is probably going to be really important.
Yeah.
Teach you all different things and factors like that. And like I said, maybe for like an older generation too, like educate them, like, hey, if you're so stressed about these younger people getting on this, like, or your children personally, like, these are the tools. Like, show people the tools. Because, like, obviously it's there, but now they're starting to be more open about these controls.
Absolutely.
So, like, maybe just be like, hey, there's options if you're really concerned about your child. This can help you limit. This can control it too.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's also that personal responsibility. If a parent's just being fucking lazy and just giving the kid an iPad and be like,
go what you want to do, whatever you
yeah.
want to do.
Leave
I'm
me
not
alone.
going to check on you.
Right, yeah, basically fuck off.
Lazy parenting. And lazy parenting is the number one killer of a child's mind. It's lazy parenting. It's not being there and actively enforcing development in your child and letting them know that, like, right now you're growing and you're learning and you want to do and experience what you need to. Not only enforcing it, but, like, assisting it. Like, if the kid has an idea or wants to go play at the fucking park, don't tell him to just get on the fucking iPad instead. Go take him to the fucking park.
Yeah.
Go take him to the fucking park. Like, write your fucking business email later. Go take your kid. Like, that's another thing. I feel like it's become a lazy excuse for parents these days. It's like, well, I could go walk my kid out to the park and go do all that. Or I can give him an iPad right now, let him watch a Mr. Beast video, and he's not even going to fucking think about the world. And I can go do everything I need to, and he'll be done for the night.
Right.
That's a problem, because the kid now learned, instead of going to the park, I could just sit here and watch TV. And that I'll be just as happy. That's not the equation you want to make in your mind. You need to understand, like, it's important to live life too, and go have fun and do these things. Those are valid things to want to do, and not have a parent just shut down.
True.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's been a major shift since the 2010s, but I have a lot of faith in our generation. I'm not going to lie. Not everyone in our generation, but there are a lot of people within just our generation who have very similar mindsets to us, where it's like, we need to make sure we're watching out for our kids.
Right.
We are very attentive, because we came up in the age where this was unregulated and it was a little more just raw and open.
Yeah, we kind of had like both, because the first half of our lives
was like unregulated, and now we're seeing the regulation. So we've learned, like, this is important, and that was not okay. now we've seen both sides, so we have that knowledge to be like, we know what we want for our kids and how to go about that. Yeah, I think it's just our jobs as parents in the society and our generation's job to maintain responsibility with social media, because if it's going to be a part of our world and it's inevitable, the only thing we can do from that point forward is make sure that it's not affecting our kids negatively.
No.
That's our jobs, once we become parents, that's our job, making sure our kids are good and that this isn't controlling their lives, like they have control of their own life and they're doing their own things.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've been a lot of places this conversation for sure. We've been all over the place today, but at the same time, I think we've had a lot of good conversation. Like it's all been
good time.
interesting to me, at least. I've been interested to hear what we've been talking about. I know it's been bouncing around a bit, but at the same time, I think it's been interesting enough.
It's our first time.
Literally first podcast. And while we're on talking about the first time, you guys
first time you had sex. No. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I did want to apologize because for the most part, this is gonna have mostly no cuts, except there was one part where our mic cut, and you may notice it in this because it'll like cut in. It sounds a little different. Like I'll be talking, and then Chris will just start talking, and it sounds like a weird. If it sounds like there's a cut, it's because the mic basically cut out on us and died. We had to go back and start recording again and like refresh, not the whole thing episode, but like from that point forward. So there may be a weird cut in the video and everything, but otherwise, we're trying our best, and we're gonna get it to the point where we're making as little cuts as we need to, and it's just a flow.
I also want to say, give us feedback. What things we can work on.
We definitely do want to, we want to make sure that we're creating interesting.
Yeah. Like we all said, it's the first episode. We don't have the right equipment.
Well, I would say this works for now.
It works for now.
We'll get to the point.
We'll get there.
Absolutely.
So first episode.
Feedback on what should we do? Like maybe we did something wrong.
Or just anything you guys would change. Just give us some ideas. So
too much on a topic. Or
absolutely.
Like
too much time spent on one topic versus not enough time spent on another. Or whatever it may be, feedback is always necessary, especially when you're starting like this, because the sooner that we can catch these flaws in our processes, the quicker we can get to a stable, smooth operation, and that's where we all want to be. We want to get to the point where it's just coming in and doing the normal Sunday thing. That's where we want it to be for us. Feedback, that's a great point. Feedback would be lovely.
Sunday for us, Friday for them.
Well, Friday for them, yeah. We record on Sundays, so I'll say Sunday things, but I'm talking about us. It's our Sunday thing. But yes, this will be released on a Friday, and it will be releasing. I guess I should talk about that. We haven't even touched on that. So before we end it off, a little bit about our scheduling, at least the plan. Our hopes is to record every single Sunday and release an episode every single Friday. So you guys. It'll be recording on Sunday, and then the Friday of that week, we'll be releasing the video. So they'll be 5 days old at most. And we may pre-record an episode or two in advance if we have a vacation coming up to mix the difference. But for the most part, that's our scheduling. We're shooting for about once a week uploads, and it's hoping to be Fridays. That's the plan right now.
Nope.
And I also had an idea. I was talking to Colin. I don't know if Colin does want to go or not, but I know we're all down. So Summer Smash is gonna be coming up a few months in the summertime, and I had this idea of how we have this app on our phone. I don't have the app, but there's an app on the phone where you're talking to someone and then
Oh, you want to do interviews?
Yeah, I would do some interviews, bro. This would be funny though.
Gay
but
son or daughter?
Polo G or Drake? Drake?
No. I don't know. I guess we should just wrap it up then.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good episode. We're about an hour in. I'll probably cut 2 minutes worth of content, so we've got a good amount of content.
He comes back, it's 20-minute video.
20 minutes.
I send the video out and it's 20 minutes. Oh Lord. But shit. Thank you guys very much for tuning in.
Thank you.
We're excited to continue doing all of this and whatnot, and we will catch you guys on the next episode. Other than that, it's been the Bourbon Beans Podcast, and we'll catch you later, guys.
Peace.
Teeth.